I'm open.
I'm
I'm
open.
open.
Welcome to the I'm Open podcast with Andrew, Joe, Sam, Ryan, and Ryan Andersen of the New York Empire, and also my um, what season is it? Spring? My spring league captain.
Sam's leading the team in layout blocks right now. Just saying.
Unsurprising.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Leaves it all out there.
Yeah.
That's all
Thanks
I know
for
how to
having me,
do.
fellas. This is been wanting to
Yeah.
do it for a long time. I love just like chopping it up. I know we got to do it a little bit at championship weekend last year, but it's nice to finally do it on the podcast.
Yeah, welcome to the pod.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We're glad you're finally here.
Yeah.
Big day, big app. I'm excited.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we sorry not to cut you off, Sam, but I remember like at the end of the last episode, or like after we recorded last episode, we were like, don't we do tier lists? Oh, we forgot. So that's what we're doing today.
Yeah, we forgot our main thing, but we're so back.
We're so back.
Week one's over. We dusted off the tier list from end of last regular season, which I think is the last time we updated it. And I'm gonna throw it on the screen. All right. Yeah, so where we left off end of last regular season, we were obviously really confused by the Soul because they didn't play any real games, and then obviously they made it to championship weekend. But otherwise, I think we look pretty good.
Yeah. I guess did we get too drunk at championship weekend? We forgot to update it after championship weekend. Is that what I'm seeing?
Probably. Yeah. I mean,
cool.
Definitely.
Cool.
I mean, looking at it, like I'm not mad at how it landed out. Like Minnesota definitely kind of shot above a little bit, but I don't want to like give them too much credit for losing to Salt Lake in overtime, like the Philly argument. So
yeah, I guess I feel like it maybe would have looked different. I don't know. Whatever. That's in the past. This is now. We had some games this year that I think will
it's a whole new year.
Affect things. Should we start from bottom up, top down? What are we feeling?
I feel like if we started at the top, we have somebody who could speak to that team and their outlook for this year and where they should be.
Ryan, do you think the Empire should move down?
That is a fair point that you make.
All right, yeah. Ryan, I want all your opinions on that Empire Montreal game, because obviously our betting line was 10.5, and it was like actually a decent game. I think we were all surprised at how competent Montreal seemed in both the Boston and the New York game. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the new look Empire and new look Montreal, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll start with Montreal. Being with the team for the last 2 years, I've kind of gotten to know Montreal like a little bit just because we play them so often, like go up there and they come down to us. And I think this is like a very new look Montreal team. They look a lot more competitive this year than I think I've seen them thus far. Their offense especially looks like really a lot cleaner than it did. And their defense gave us a little bit of trouble. Now, I think part of that, like over the weekend, is maybe just like conditions. Like it's kind of cold, it was kind of rainy, and it's not like I guess an excuse, but at the same time, like Montreal, yeah, they're actually like a legit team. Like they actually have a lot of like really nice players who can move the disc really well, and honestly, who can hit really like tight windows that I was not expecting them to hit a lot of the time. There was one crossfield shot, and I forget who it was, but he kind of like threaded it on like an inside flick through like 3 defenders and then somehow floated it up above. I think it was Brett who was like cutting into that lane to try to like jump it and somehow threaded the needle and like got it through. So I was actually like pretty impressed with how they played. And it seemed like in the Boston game, which I watched like a little bit of, they were kind of doing the same. So props to them. Like they're looking actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like DeCraney, maybe. I think I know what you're talking about.
It was
he had a great weekend.
DeCraney. He's the Dutch guy, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's nice.
Mm-hmm.
he moves around the field really well too. Like he does, I feel like he's not somebody who takes up a lot of space, but makes a lot of impacts in the spaces that he does take up.
We kind of glossed over Montreal like in our preseason kind of preview. And I'm just wondering, like, was there any major personnel changes, or did they just kind of like tighten things up in that one game? Like I'm not really sure. But the results were definitely surprising.
I think
Definitely.
friend of the pod, Addy Bay, Brennan Addy Bay went to Toronto, I want to
Yeah.
say.
Are
And
you
they
calling him
lost
dead weight?
I don't know. They lost Oj Samar, I also think. I don't know where he went, if he went to another team or if he's just not playing, but that's
So,
what I remember seeing.
so we just know for sure they lost a couple guys, but we don't know. There wasn't
Well,
like, oh,
they got the Dutch guy. I think he
Mhm.
might be a big part of it. I think from what they were saying in the broadcast, they seems like they've been working on it for a while. Like he has some connection. They've been trying to get him over.
interesting.
But
Well, that would be cool to see. I mean, I feel like that's good for the league and the division if Montreal is like, making things interesting. Like I'm super here for it. But yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like we're gonna move them up, right? Like a F tier doesn't feel appropriate anymore, but
yeah,
they did lose.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say timeout on just let's give them up to a like they lost 2 games and we're moving them up a tier. Like I think they need to beat like
No, I don't think we
no,
need
no
to I
way,
don't think we
no
need
way.
to rely on last year's like games that they lost for us to say they have to prove themselves from last year. This is a whole new year and they only lost by 2 to the Empire.
I just don't want to give any prudence to like the Philly argument. Like they haven't won a game
right.
yet, and we're
I'm
talking
with
about
you.
moving them up.
I I get that, but I kind of think we should it's like a new tier list. Like we're not moving them up, we're just starting a whole new tier. Like if nobody had a ranking right now, we wouldn't put them in F.
Yeah, I
Yes,
agree with
yes,
Joe.
but well, it's tough because like I feel like we wouldn't if it was later in the season, it's hard to move a team up that didn't win a game, even if the games were good. And it's tough. It was like 2 road games to start the season. That's tough. That's not that's always a challenge. Um
Yeah, but I think we should keep in mind
I
we're
don't
talking about F to D here.
yes.
Like
I'm in favor of moving them up, ultimately,
Dallas,
is what I'm
Houston,
saying.
Nitro. Yeah, like
They
like
are
I
they are
also
still 0-2.
I yeah, I
yeah,
mean that's fair. I don't think we should be putting them up based on like potential of being a C tier, but like moving them out of like
yeah,
almost the dookiest, I think is
But
fair. I also
and
think that if a team made a lot of offseason changes, would move teams around based on, if we thought a team got a lot worse, we would potentially drop them a tier.
that's
right.
true.
Ryan, you're our guest on the pod. You get final say. Where should they be?
My argument is there's no universe where an F tier team competes with an Empire tier team, so they can't be in F. They have to be at least in D.
Mhm.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a good argument.
I,
Well,
I don't
Yeah,
know if
just
they
agreed.
go any higher than that, but that's it.
Yeah,
look like I feel like vibes, even though they're own two, vibes have to be pretty good.
Yep.
And look at the vibes of those other teams in F. It just doesn't. It's not
yeah,
I don't think
it's
Montreal
not
go
where you want to
like.
be.
Nah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's hear your thoughts on the other team from that game,
You
the
talking to me?
Empire.
Oh, the
Yeah,
Empire. I mean,
yeah. What are
it's
your
hard
thoughts on the
to
Empire, the new
it's
look
hard to
Empire?
move a team out of their own tier. Number one, and number two, it's hard to do that when they win a game and set a league record. So I feel like it's justified to keep us there until proven otherwise. I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I feel
I'm
like I feel
I'm
like
with you.
I
It's
feel like
close.
there's enough like street credit there to at least keep us there through week one.
Yeah,
I
I
I don't think anyone's gonna disagree with you. Like they're staying there until they lose a game.
yeah. The loss has to happen, I think, to knock them out of there.
There.
Yeah, I think I might be the one to say that like if they beat like a F tier or a D tier team by 1 point, do you get to be in your own tier, or are you just a really good team and then you scrapped out a win? Like that would be my counter argument. I'm not saying we move them down,
I
but
think realistically, if that's who you are, you probably don't deserve your own tier. But
But it is week 1.
we got to
and
keep them.
Yeah.
I think it's week
Sure.
1. We've seen enough of this team. Yes, they lost like their 2 best players or 2 of their top 3, however you want to look at it. But like, I think my bold prediction is like in the next like 5-6 weeks, like early on, they may drop a game. Like that's just what I saw to the Empire this weekend. Like a close game against Montreal. Like all you need is Philly or Boston or DC or whoever the road games they play to get hot, like one game. And they don't got Oscar or Babbitt to like come down with like 4 points. So
Yeah, Ryan Andersen, what are your thoughts on like the new look offense, I guess? Because it looked like Sean Keegan is center handling.
So Sean
I don't know
joined
if
up.
that was like just a week 1 thing or
Yeah, so Sean joined up. I don't know. I kind of try to stay out of the most of the strategy, at least as it applies to like the actual like personnel and situations. More so just trying to like keep people moving, I guess, in their respective roles.
yeah.
I think part of Sean being in that position specifically was because Elliot wasn't able to be at the game. I don't know what they have planned for Sean, but I mean, obviously Sean's like a veteran and a really skilled player, and is really familiar with a lot of the guys on the team playing with Pony. So I think it's like a nice role for him, especially I think one that he feels comfortable in, especially playing primarily offense and maybe having timeouts called on defense, which is always nice. um, but yeah, I mean, like, I don't think like the offense is going to look so different outside of just like the personnel. I think we still have the core, like a core group of players, both on offense and on defense, that can make plays at the end of the day. And adding a couple of people and losing a couple of people, obviously, it's tough to see friends and teammates like walk, and go to a different team, especially like in your own division. But at the end of the day, like that's kind of what professional sports is like. Now we get to match up against our friends, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But overall, I think the offense looks really good. I mean, I've gotten to see them in practice the last couple of weeks, and they look great. I mean, adding a guy like Liam from Atlanta, I think is a pretty nice replacement for Oscar. And then it's hard to replace Jeff and Lithio, but definitely have some size coming into the offense.
Yeah, that one like full field flick hook from Liam to Jack Williams was like pretty Oscar coded.
It's pretty sick. I mean, I think he's figured out the wind of Fosina Field very quickly, and he's using it to his advantage for sure.
yeah.
Well, sorry, Ryan, don't want to cut you off if you have Empire thoughts.
No, I was just gonna say like Liam Haberfield's like flick hook is one of the coolest things to see in the league. So happy to see him unleashing it.
Yeah, totally agree. I have a pretty unrelated question, but since we're leaving Empire there, we're I guess done with Empire for the time being. Do you know where the Shred Empire game is going to be, or like what the plan is?
I don't know where that's going to be because that's one of like the later season games, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I believe it's a home game for us. I'd have to like pull up the schedule. And actually
It is
look at it.
I was looking at it yesterday. It is a home game, but it doesn't say yet like venue. I'm wondering if they're trying to like do something cool with it.
I would love if
The
they did
the last game for the Breeze is also at Empire and doesn't have a location yet.
Interesting.
Maybe something's coming. Maybe.
Ryan, you got some information you're holding out on us?
I don't know anything. I just, I just rub some calves and stretch some ankles. It's easy.
Fair enough.
Yeah, wait, before we leave discussing the Empire, should we ask some questions about athletic training? Because I've got some questions.
Oh,
Fire away.
shoot.
Who's
Let's go.
the most injury prone player you've had on roster?
On the
And
roster,
wait, and follow up, does that make them your favorite player or least favorite?
That's a good question.
ooh, I think most injury prone player. So like there are some players who, like are like actually like very injured, and there's some players who just like me to kind of like warm them up. So it's kind of like a little bit different in both situations. Most injury prone, I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one. I don't like. There's a couple of people that have like been, more seriously hurt, but there's nobody that's been like consistently injured, same thing or something different like all the time, which has been very nice for me because it makes my job really easy. The person who is on my table the most, at least recently, has been either Oliver or Charles, definitely.
Mhm.
Usually both fighting for position on the table.
All right, Joe, what else you got?
All right, if nobody else prepared any questions, who's your favorite and least favorite athletic trainers around the league?
Ooh.
And who do you look up to the most?
You're welcome to just do
I
favorite also.
I think my favorite and the one that I look up to is Josh McCune for Philly Phoenix. He's like the head of the entire like league, on-field training staff. And he's the man too. He's awesome. He's really into it. Like he does the athletic training for I think all of the Philly teams. And then I think does some stuff in club as well. So he's the
Mhm.
man. He's really great. I don't know that I have a least favorite. Um, yeah, I mean, like I like it's usually just kind of like a net neutral interaction with a lot of
Mhm.
the other athletic trainers. We kind of just like give a head nod, maybe say hello, and then kind of do our own thing.
Mhm.
It's really tough when teams come up, and this was like the last couple of years. And I don't think this really happens anymore. It was really tough when teams would come up without their athletic trainers or like PTs or whoever like their medical staff is. Because then I'm just trying to like not only treat the players on my team, but then figure out what's going on with their team, which is like kind
Yeah.
of a tough situation to be in. Also, not knowing any of these players and saying, "Hey, so and so, you tore your Achilles like less than a year ago. I'm going to tape you up, and I've never talked to you before outside of
Mhm.
this moment, and we're going to hope that this actually works." And it did, which was good. But it's kind of like it's a difficult situation. So I would say anybody who doesn't travel with their team and or doesn't send somebody else to travel with their team is my least favorite athletic trainer.
Well,
All right. Well, I can just keep rattling off questions, so feel free to
hold on.
stop me and let's keep going whenever. But
I have a follow up for you, Joe. Who's your least favorite colleague, work colleague, and
Oh,
what's their full name, and say it on the internet.
my least favorite work colleague is Andrew Lewis. Uh,
Whoa, you don't get paid for this,
fair.
so technically it's not work.
oh,
Yeah, I
you're
was gonna
right.
say.
I can tell
Uh,
Joe's media trained for sure. Joe knows how to
uh,
ask the probing questions.
all right, Ryan. What's the best performance you've ever had in a game?
The best performance I've ever had in a
Yeah,
What's
game.
the
not in like when you played frisbee or when you play frisbee, like as an athletic
yeah,
trainer.
what
Oh,
is the
I
athletic
know this
trainer's
one.
like perfect game?
Yeah.
My my perfect game. It's between two, and I think it was actually last year. Um, so after the Austin game, I think we were all hanging out, and I was like talking to some of the Austin guys. And I was kind of, just not like riling them up, but kind of just being like, "Why are you guys making my job harder?" Like kind of joking around with them. And the next day, they came in these like all white like jumpsuits and stood right over where the table was, and were just like heckling me the whole time. And honestly, it was like one of the best things that they could have ever done because I was like spot on the entire game. Like I was so locked in. It was like I was playing in the game, but I was on the sideline just making sure that everybody else was able to play at like peak capacity. So shout out to those guys. That was awesome. That was really
Hell yeah.
sick.
That's pretty sweet.
Hell yeah. Was that the game? I don't remember who it was. Somebody got like a knee to the chest and ended up throwing up. Was that
That
game?
was the Austin game. So this was
Okay.
the championship game against
Yeah,
Salt.
yeah. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, that was tough. That was that was a pretty aggressive and intense game,
Yeah,
especially with that moment.
I remember. Wow. Okay. I feel like I should stop asking questions at this point and get back to it, but that was some really interesting insights.
Thanks.
Yeah, I feel like you're media trained, Ryan.
A little bit. I hang out with Victoria a lot and on
Fair
the
enough.
sideline, so I'm definitely a little bit media trained. I try to be a little bit savvy. The
Yeah.
Corona helps.
We're probably the opposite of whatever that is. But here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm about to get up in the middle of this podcast and get another beer. So
It's not gonna stop us from
You
making
dummy,
a show.
I'm media trained. I brought my second beer here with me.
I'm
Oh,
on my second beer. I need my third one.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was kind of tired after work, and I came home. I was like, I need to like loosen up a little bit. I feel like everybody else is gonna be drinking, so I got to have a beer before we do this. So
nice.
gonna finish out number 2.
He's media
Nice.
trained,
My
all right.
man.
Yeah.
That's a media trained guy right there.
damn.
All right.
All right, let's go to game number 2.
we gotta get through this tier list so we can all go to bed at some point. But yeah, Joe, if you have any more training questions, feel free to shout them out.
I'll save them for later.
Okay. I figure we did kind of hop bottom to top, but let's just go top down because we had a lot of action in this A tier.
Yeah.
With Shred beating the Breeze by 3 at home and Carolina beating the Hustle by 8, which was pretty crazy.
Carolina above Hustle. Got to,
flippy
right?
flop.
Has to be.
And
Has to
potentially above DC.
Yeah, I think put them third.
Do we
Like
drop
that?
Hustle? I mean, by 8 is a lot of points.
8 was a lot. I don't know.
Like that's a
Yeah.
beatdown. That's not a close game. That's not we had a chance. That's a beatdown.
I feel like we keep
Not
them in
opposed.
A for now. Like I don't want to
Like,
overreact too much because maybe
I want
Carolina.
to overreact. Sorry to cut you off, but I want to overreact because like if the Shred beat the Summit by 8, there's just no way the Summit would be an A tier.
That's a good point.
Mm,
It is
yeah.
early season and we don't really know what's going on, but I think that means we should be as rash as possible.
Yes, 100% agree.
All right, I'm convinced.
Plus I feel like Minnesota might go up to A, so
Yeah.
like
Here's my thing. I feel like let's wait for some of these teams to like all play games before we like drastically it would be weird. Like Summit hasn't done anything yet, but they're still in A, but then Hustle goes down. I don't know.
I was getting ready to to say Summit to B tier, but
well,
Like,
by that logic, I can respect that logic at least. But like,
I think I'll go back to like your guys' point on Montreal, where it's like this isn't adjusting from last year; it's a new season. So it's like Hustle just lost by 8, so we have to forget about last year. They lost Liam Haberfield. Like this is the team that we're looking at now, and it's like you just lost by 8. You can't be an A tier, and I kind of stand firmly by that.
maybe Carolina is just so back though, just like us.
They could be.
maybe. I think that's probably true. And also, I didn't look at the rosters, but I feel like the Hustle were maybe missing a couple college regionals attendees.
It was a road game. Regionals, yeah, like you were saying.
It was Southeast regionals, but 8 is a lot of points. I don't know.
I mean, do we want to just flippy flop Hustle and Soul?
They still had Holzmeyer, Taylor, Austin Nab, Burnett, Flick.
They're top dogs.
Yeah.
Kobira, he's still playing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm pro not shaking it up too much, but Ryan feels the strongest about it.
No, I
So
think we should bump them.
Ryan, I
and
agree with you.
I'm
Thank you.
spineless.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
The Ryans are in
I'm
agreement.
on the bumping
I
train.
agree. I mean, like they're definitely like a very nice team, but it's hard when you lose by 8.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a lot. That's not a close game. That's not competing.
Exactly.
Do yeah. Okay, so do we want to talk about where we left off with Seoul and Windchill? I know it is a new season, but they looked pretty good they looked really good in the playoffs. And the Summit lost to the Aviators in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm okay bumping Soul and Winchell up to A tier. And if we want to drop Summit, they lost to the Aviators, that they're not back. They might be back.
I think it's reasonable until like we know if they're back or not, you know?
Yeah. Like we're back. Are they back? Well, they have Chance Cochran, so they might be back.
Ooh, they might be so back.
They might be super back.
Well, Minnesota played a game and they took it to Pittsburgh. They did exactly what they took care of business, basically.
They beat the spread.
They
They
killed
beat
it.
the spread.
I think Minnesota's got to go up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Especially in my
I mean,
mind, when I look at these teams, I think there's a separation between Minnesota and like Alley Cats, Aviators, and them.
Well, I guess now this makes the argument for like moving Summit at least to the bottom of A, if not the top of B.
Mhm.
I'm cool with that.
I'm as like the resident Summit fan, I'm cool dropping them to B. Like
Oh, let's go.
they lost to Aviators.
Wow.
Ooh.
Put a
I
little
mean,
chip on their shoulder. I love it.
Don't
yeah.
get
Yeah,
Ken's fired up. He's gonna go off.
Chance Cochran mode is gonna go crazy though.
Yeah, I mean they did
We'll
lose
see.
Cody Spicer, so it's like it's not like they totally like they have no ringers. They have Chance Cochran, he's a ringer, but like other than that,
Mhm.
nothing crazy.
Do you know if is Calvin Stoughton not playing?
He's not rostered, so
Yeah.
Okay, I
he's
saw
not
that.
playing.
Interesting.
I was curious.
But yeah, who knows what's going on there?
But I mean they're still really good. All the teams in B are great.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to
Aviators
wait.
just lost to Oakland. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. You're gonna say something about
I was just gonna say my only thing about the Soul is we're gonna have to wait until the end of May for them to play a legitimate team to maybe take them out of A.
Yeah, they'll just
Right.
have to stay bottom of A the whole time.
So
Who do they start with?
they start with Houston and then Dallas. Then they got a game against Chicago.
It's like
Yeah.
The
even
Chicago
that,
game definitely is the real one.
Yeah.
we'll see.
And then they
Good
play the Flyers the week after. So yeah, but then they have like they end the season with Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Dallas, Houston.
Yeah, I feel like with Austin, you really have to play the like how much did they win by game because
Yeah.
there's just not enough actual games in there to make that call based on anything. But I mean, yeah, I'm fine with them in A, definitely over Hustle wherever they are.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get my third beer.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Sam gets his beer. Ryan, you're gonna jump into something?
Well, I was just one of the teams in B I want to talk about. By the transitive property, Glory beat Montreal by 2, and the Empire beat Montreal by 2. So the Glory are back, I think.
Glory
I think
equals Empire.
that proved the Glory are back.
I
No,
do think they should be moved up.
B for back.
B for back, B for Babbitt. The Glory looked good, but I also kind of saw the weaklings or the weakness that Glory had last year, where it's like they're kind of top heavy right now. And I don't know if they can actually run with like teams like the Empire or like the Breeze in like a contested game. But Ryan, did you watch that game at all?
So I watched like a good chunk of it, and I think they were missing a couple of like key people. Like Cole Davis Brand wasn't there. There's one other person that wasn't there at least. I thought they looked decent. I think it's just kind of getting comfortable with like new pieces, especially on offense, and not really knowing honestly just like the power that Jeff has and the gravitational pull of him on a field. Um, where you can kind of utilize him both as the person getting the disc and as the person drawing every other defender on the field towards him. I think, you know, once that's all sorted out, they're going to be very dangerous. So if it were me, I would say they're probably close to the top of B, if not maybe after another game creeping into the bottom of A.
All right.
He had 5 blocks. That's crazy.
And
Yeah.
they looked casual. That's the crazy part. They were blocks that I couldn't imagine myself or probably any of us getting in our entire lives, and he just popped right up like it was.
Well.
I mean,
You've
he's
seen me
crazy.
at Spring League, you know.
That's true. Sam, give me a shoulder high on Friday while I'm flying down to Atlanta, and I'll be very happy.
I got you. I'll have someone film it.
Yeah.
But no, I know exactly what you're saying. I remember we were watching part of this game after our Spring League game, and we watched Jeff run this up line, and it was like, oh, that's an easy goal, and like they didn't throw it, and we were just like, once they figure out that they can just throw that to him,
Just put it literally
back.
anywhere within his vicinity that he has an opportunity to put his hand on it, and he will catch it. He's absurd. He's the craziest athlete I've ever worked with in my entire life by a good margin.
Damn.
That's so cool.
On another note, Ryan, Ben Katz leaving the Empire, was that news surprising? Was that kind of like already known? And what's your reaction to, one of the veteran guys leaving the team?
Yeah, I mean, not purposely not really like getting into like the know and like the moving pieces of everything. Like Matt handles a lot of that stuff, so whoever's at practice, I'm just happy to see. It's tough to not have like a veteran guy there like Ben Katz. Obviously, like he's the man. He's super cool. Like his story is awesome, and just getting to work with him and hang out with him, a couple times a week is the best. Like he's just like genuinely one of the coolest people ever. Getting to travel with him and everything too. So definitely gonna miss him. Spent a lot of time with him for sure. But yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough to see those two guys walk, and especially to like a competitor. But man, like they have roots in Massachusetts with UMass, so I totally get it. And those two and Ben Sadok back together, that's a tough combo to really get through.
Yeah.
Very media trained answer.
Yeah.
Just really saying a whole lot of nice things and kind of drawing it out. It's perfect. It's easy.
That's what being on a podcast is all about.
Really long-winded answers for, yeah, it sucks that they're both not on our team.
Yeah.
No, but
Absolutely.
I think it's exciting to I don't know, it makes this really feel like like other sports where it's like, oh my gosh, this guy moved this team. Like, how's this going to happen? Like, how's this going to shake out? Talking about like contract negotiations and stuff, which I've never done for a Frisbee, as like a thing to discuss. So I don't know. I think all of that is only good for the sport, and it was kind of exciting to see. And it's cool to see like, some of the other teams kind of in the division get better, even if the Empire still goes out and wins every game. Like if these games get a little bit closer, that's fun. That's fun for us, to talk about it. It's fun for the fans. So I'm here for like a slightly better Boston Glory. If not like contending into A tier. I'm cool. I'm cool with like having them in B for now. But be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Sure.
Super off topic. Ryan Andersen, do you own a car?
I do own a car.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I know exactly what this is about.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We have, as part of our tryout process for our club team, we have a tournament the weekend of June 1st. And the Glory visit the Empire on May 31st.
As long as I am not going to my friend's bachelor party, which is up in the air for that weekend, down.
Sweet.
I heard your friend canceled the wedding actually, so you're good.
I would hope
Nice.
not. There's 1,800 people coming to this wedding.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Who's your friend?
So he's my friend Mohammed. He's getting married in Toronto, and it's like everybody from his family, everybody from his fiance's family, going back to like every great distant cousin is coming to this wedding. It's at like
Holy shit.
the largest or second largest mosque in Toronto, which I
Holy
assume is
shit.
probably one of the larger ones in Canada. This thing is like
Really?
insane.
1,800 people is nuts.
That's gonna
Yeah.
be so
I don't
cool.
know. I don't know what's gonna happen at this thing.
That's sick.
That
Yeah,
shit
it's gonna
must
be
cost
wild.
so much money. Oh my god.
I can't even begin to imagine.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. Well,
Should we get back on topic?
Yeah. Sorry,
I
I'm
mean,
getting
if
super
you
distracted.
No, this was
if
no,
you
no,
have
no,
a
this
plus
was
one or a
fun,
plus like
Oh, they're
500, I
media.
don't
Can
know
we
how
get
that
media
wedding
credentials?
works.
Can we get
Dude, you
credentials?
get credentials for the wedding.
Hmm.
If one of you has a camera, I'm sure we can make it work.
Yeah.
Both Joe and Sam.
Hell yeah.
All right. Anyway, yeah, let's get back on topic.
All right. Who else
Um,
played games?
how do you guys like B tier?
I'm all right with it. I feel like Oakland has to be moved up because they beat the Aviators, but I don't know how long they'll. I don't know. I don't know if I believe in them.
I don't know if I believe in the Aviators right now, honestly.
Hmm.
I have no
Yeah.
idea. I don't
That
know if
was
I
pretty
I don't know I don't
disappointing.
know if I don't believe in them, but I feel no semblance of confidence in anything, and that doesn't make me feel great.
Yeah, it's the same story every year. It's like they just don't throw to Everest deep as much as they should, probably. And like, especially when they're trailing, they were pretty insistent. I mean, like they started putting it to, trying to stretch the field more, but like it felt like they were I don't know. Like you kind of got to start to like force the issue a little bit when you're losing. You're playing against the clock, and I didn't really see them doing that enough, and they wound up coming up short. So I don't know. I hope they figure that out, but no
Yeah.
lotto, no lotto. Didn't really help matters
Hmm.
with that. So hopefully lotto gets back, starts bombing it more. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm not really sure. Like they need to figure it out. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm fine with this B tier,
Me
I
too.
think.
All right. C
Pitch-
tier only Pittsburgh played.
yeah.
They got handled by the wind chill.
Yeah, pretty
I
big
could see
game.
them dropping, but it would also depend on what we do with D tier.
Yeah.
Like, I
think
also think the Union are going to be. I think the Union got better during the off season.
right.
And
That was my other thought. Do you want to move Union to the top because of like their sort of big name additions, or
I love moving Philly down too. I'm for it.
fair
Yeah, I'm
enough.
with that.
yeah,
At what
I
point
like it.
do they flip from hot bird to cold bird? Is it just like only hot birds and then you distinguish cold bird, or like how do you guys do
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
Last year we were so confused that we had to have two of them on
yeah,
there,
we had both.
it? Yeah.
and it was like when they're playing like they're supposed to, they're here. When they're playing like they do half the time for whatever reason, they're here.
Mhm.
And then we just kind of like combine them back to a C tier team, and we're just like, you guys are good and bad. Like you're C.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
not consistent for
That's fair.
year above.
That's very fair. I feel like Philly is one of those teams that like they'll get very streaky. Uh Potentially at the beginning of the season, potentially the end. I think last year they kind of got hot like middle to end after having a couple of close games with us, and like what was it, the Carolina win
Mhm.
kind of like sparked them for the rest of the season. So I don't know. I mean, like they get a lot of hate, especially on Twitter. So I think they're a good team actually. Like they're just
Get them out.
we
This
haven't seen
interview's over.
consistency.
This interview's done.
Mhm.
We're
Like
done.
the consistency is just not there. Like
Yeah.
we played them into I think like a super tight game that I think even went to overtime in
Hmm.
Philly, and then we beat them by like 8 or 9 points. or 8 or 9 goals at home. So I don't know. Their home crowd is wild though. I don't know if you guys have ever gone to one of those games, but they will get at you.
They send a lot of fans to the DC games too. They have like a bus of all their most devout fans, and they have their own section. It goes pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, I feel like they did that at the New York game last year too.
Yeah, they represent Philly sports to a T. It's pretty intense for Ultimate, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I think I dreamt this, but I was like so sure that the Rascals lost, and I was gonna be like, Elu, I knew they were gonna be so bad, and you were like, maybe they'll be fine, and I was gonna be like, no, they're trash, and they didn't play.
So I'm right.
For now.
For now.
Until Joe incepts you.
One thing that I did want to point out about, since we're on the topic of Philly, we just touched on the Aviators, is that I don't know if I support this now, but it'll be something I root for moving forward, is for Philly and LA to be next to each other on the tier list to signify when James Pollard and Everett Shapiro kissed at layout on the lips.
Ooh.
So maybe their logos can kiss on the lips on our
Yeah,
tier
we
list.
we should get like a flipped version.
Yeah, they're both facing. Yeah, that's tough. We should get them. Yeah, we'll get them mirrored. We'll figure it out.
Maybe next week between B and C, we'll just have like that time that James Pollard and Everest kissed tier
on the
lips. On the lips.
Yeah, anyway.
Right,
but yeah,
anyway,
I think this
on
team's
to
looking
D.
good. I think the biggest thing is that Seattle won very handily. At home, granted, but is that enough to move them out of D tier?
It's enough to move the Growlers down and then move the Nitro down also.
Well, you think? Because the Growlers had a pretty good game against the Nitro. So
yeah, that's why I'm saying also move the Nitro down. Move them to Mechanics tier. I'm sorry, Gorpus. Move Gorpus down.
Should we make a Gorpus tier?
Yeah.
There should be a Gorpus tier above Mechanics tier.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because it doesn't feel fair to have Growlers with Seattle, and it also doesn't feel fair to have Growlers with Nitro.
Yeah. Ryan, if you're unaware what we're talking about, they're like new sponsor. I don't even remember what the name of the company is, but it looks like
I think it's like Go.
I think there's a Y.
Yeah, it's like Gopirus or something
No
like
way.
that.
I don't know if I've seen this. Is it like center chest on the jersey
huge
too?
Yeah, it's so big.
No way.
It looks like their team.
We could pull this up.
Hold on. Yeah, I got it. Let me. Yeah. Just look up.
Because some of them are
oh,
like
it's not.
really cool.
I just looked at their thing. It's not up there. But if you look up Nitro B Ultimate, or you just go, you go to the link, I guess.
I was
Gorpus.
gonna look at
Go to the merch or something.
Gorpus.
Yeah, Gorpus.
Oh, no way. What is that logo?
It's Gorpus.
Gropus.
I mean, I just
It actually just says
logo
Gropus.
itself is cool. Is it like what is this company? That's kind of
It's Gropus.
It kind of looks like the PlayStation logo a little bit. Remember like the old school one?
Yeah, it does. Or like the GameCube.
Sorry, GameCube. You're right.
The top of the GameCube.
Yeah.
I don't hate the like big spot. Like I think the Glory made that work. Like I think it can look cool, but it's a funny word. Like I just can't get over it.
I don't know what this company is.
Hey, no free ads.
Yeah.
Very cool animation.
We'll send him an invoice.
All right, let's look at careers. Andy, you want a new job, right?
Off the record, on the record. Yes.
There's just no way your bosses are watching.
You want to move to Germany or Austria?
Ooh, wait, HVAC engineer?
Yeah,
I could totally work for this company.
Dude, you should apply to Gorpus, Ryan.
All right. Yeah, move to Germany.
What's the salary range for this company?
That's a good question.
Don't think they list it.
Is it in euros?
Probably.
Gropus. I mean, like I could actually get this job.
I'll send that to you later.
I don't want. No, I don't want to move
Columbus.
early.
Imagine having like professional groper on your LinkedIn. Anyway, what are we doing now?
All
We're
right.
tiering.
Gorpus
move
tier.
down.
I feel like Seattle has to move up, especially with the additions in the offseason and winning a game to start off the season. Like
By a lot.
I think it's very
Mhm.
fair to maybe flip them and Pittsburgh, at least for right now.
I'm cool with that. Love it. Do
Let's
it.
do it.
I think based on like their vibes right now in their locker room are like, fuck yeah, like we got
Yeah.
this.
They got
And then
Lucas Ambrose.
Yeah.
He had like 1,000,000
Yeah.
blocks.
And then Pittsburgh is like, moo.
I think
We
we're
scored
gonna
11
look back.
points.
I think we're gonna look back to this tier list and say Union and Seattle in the same tier. What were we thinking?
I disagree.
Which way do you think we're gonna think
I think Seattle is actually going to regress to the mean, and they're just like a D tier team, and Chicago is, I don't know, probably like a B tier team.
I feel like this could be the year that Seattle like fights with Oakland and LA.
I was gonna say, do we make it even more crazy and flip Rascals in Seattle because Rascals haven't played a game?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
If we're
think-
gonna do it, do it all the
You
way.
gotta go all in.
That's
I
not
mean,
even that
Philly
crazy.
hasn't played a game yet either. Let's just keep it moving. Let's just
Do it.
all the way up there, you know?
You know what? Fuck it. Yeah,
Whatever.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Philly's gonna be so pissed.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great for engagement.
I think this is ridiculous, but you know, it's fine. If we're gonna put him in C tier, we might as well put him there.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well,
Did
to
the
be
Alley
fair,
Cats
you
play?
didn't watch any games.
No, they
this
didn't
week.
play.
I watched every single game this week.
Yeah, no, Alley Cats don't play till week 3. So
Actually, my biggest insight from this weekend was I was trying to figure out for our tier lists what words we could use, just using their logos, what we could spell, and the best thing I came up with was Boo Rush.
Huh.
Or Moo Brush.
Ooh, I like that.
all right, let's
That's all
make
I
it
got.
happen.
I think the only last order of business is moving Houston above Legion,
Yeah.
and then we'll probably just keep flip-flopping them as the year
Right.
goes on.
Yeah, whoever
Does
wins the
Houston
latest
just take
one.
it the whole season though? That'd be crazy.
I don't think so,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Does anybody think Houston has a fair shot at anybody else in the South
No.
other than Dallas? No.
I could
Like
see them like
full
losing to
strength?
Austin by 2 because Austin just doesn't take the game seriously at all.
Fair.
But that's it.
Like Carolina generally travels well. Like Atlanta generally travels well. So does Austin. So it has to be like some weird weekend that club and UFA coincide and people are doing one thing or another.
Yeah.
I think they could shock somebody, but yeah, I don't think it would be like both teams at full health and traveling.
I will say, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, does Houston have like a perennial Nationals contender
No, they don't.
team for club?
No.
Yeah. So I think Houston and Salt Lake are at like a very distinct advantage. And like also other teams that maybe don't have like some kind of like, regional dominant club team. And they have the advantage of a lot of their players are just going to be maybe a little bit like fresher for any given game, or just like they're just going to have higher attendance rates because they're not missing stuff for club. It's kind of interesting, like the balance between UFA and club right now, and I think Empire does a really good job of like players not missing pro stuff for club, but it definitely is like a strain throughout the season where you're doing like UFA game on one day and then like a 4-hour practice the next day. Like I know for me, like even just trying to play back-to-back days early in the season right now is like it's pretty hard, and some of these guys are doing it 2-3 days in a row. Like it takes a toll on your body for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think Houston kind of suffers in some ways because like I feel like having so many teams in Texas from like a pool of players. It's kind of like cannibalizing itself in some ways, but you know, maybe that does kind of play into their favor too. And like even just having a pro team in a town, and I don't know what kind of community outreach they do and stuff, but like, you know, that can only be good for like just getting more people interested and eventually more players. So you'd like to see them be able to like capitalize on that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think as it stands right now, it's definitely something kind of more in the future for them, but it'd be interesting to see. I'd like for them to stick around and, you know, for the South to have more good teams. You know, just like I said, with like the East and Boston being better and Montreal being better, like that's only makes things a better watch. But yeah, in terms of the tier list right now, um, is this it? Like, are we done? Like, are we
I'm
gonna
cool
lock
with
this
it.
in?
I think so.
Yeah, we
Ryan
made some more changes than I
Yeah.
thought.
Ryan Anderson, you got last say as the guest, but
I think it looks good. I like the kind of somewhat top heavy A B team, B
Mm,
tier. Jesus. But overall, I think it's a really nice list. And we made some moves, fellas. I think
yeah,
we're gonna
we
shake
really
it
did.
up a little bit.
We really did. Yeah,
We definitely
we
did.
really try not to have a normal curve. Uh, it's just something we don't like to do here.
Yeah, one time
Hence the
someone on
break.
Twitter got mad at us because it wasn't a normal curve. Yeah.
yeah. I want to get back eventually to the, the two humped
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a really
kind of
nice
setup.
two-pronged
Yeah.
what's it called? What's it called when there's two peaks?
A buy
Bimodal.
something.
Bimodal
Bimodal.
distribution. Yes, Joe. Yes.
Big sense.
That's that data science master's degree.
Yeah,
Damn.
baby.
Speaking of data science, who's your least favorite coworker?
It's actually Samuel Keolalani Butler.
Oh shit.
That guy's a douche.
He lives on Clinton Street. I don't know the number though. It's like 2,500 or something. I don't
It's
think it's
not
that.
that.
It's
Yeah.
like 256.
That's a lot closer, but
That yeah.
anyway, that's a tier list. I got to zoom out a little because we added a tier. But yeah, thank you for your help, Ryan. That was much needed.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Definitely definitely gonna ruffle some feathers with this one, but
That's always the goal,
I think it's
isn't it?
good. I think it's good.
One can only hope.
Oh yeah.
Should we get into some Ryan's lines?
Yeah, should
Ryan,
we
do you want to join me in the Ryan's lines? We can work on these together.
I'll take it. Yeah.
all right. Should we pretend we're ending it so that we can make it to 2 episodes and then
Oh yeah.
Sounds
all right,
good.
I'll see
I
you
guess.
see you guys in a few days then.
I'm
All
open.
right.
I'm open.
I'm open.
I'm open.